This podcast is produced by AudioFi.
This is the Prevail Point Podcast with author, motivational speaker, and entrepreneur Jinary Arce Cotto, a show dedicated to offering practical, real-life pointers on how to live a life of victory. Here's your host, Jinary.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited that you have tuned in to the podcast, The Prevail Point, with your host, Jinary Arce Cotto, the author of Prevail, The Process of Overcoming. Thank you for joining me today. We are starting podcast number 27, and I'm excited to share with you, and I'm excited that you have started this journey with me. So many people have subscribed on Anchor, on Spotify, and on Apple. I am really at awe for the work that I see God doing in my life. So thank you for joining me in this journey. Thank you for joining me in this process that God is putting me through, because you are right there with me. And this leads me to the topic that I want to share with you today.
You are invited into the world of Jinary Arce Cotto, entrepreneur, influencer, public speaker, and best-selling author. But everyone has a story. Prevail, the process of overcoming, is hers. It's a story of a woman who came from humble beginnings and her daughter who had all the odds stacked against them. But in spite of all of the abuse, shame, infidelity, rape, and misogyny, they found strength through their faith in Jesus Christ to prevail over it all. Available everywhere books, ebooks, and audiobooks are sold in Spanish and in English.
I want to talk about taking risks. I know that when I started this book about a year ago, it was something that I really didn't think about. I honestly just thought about obeying God. My focus was, I need to obey the Lord. He's going to provide the resources. He's going to open the doors where there is none. And I have to tell you that He did. I have to tell you that when you trust in God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, He will not let you down. He is not a man that will lie. He is not a man that will take back His word. He will always fulfill His promise in your life. And you need to believe that. But I took a huge risk writing a book, a personal book about basically the back door of what was going on in my family. And my intention was never to talk about anyone in specific. My intention was to talk about my mother's story and how I knew it was going to bless thousands and millions of people around the world. And it turned into me speaking about my own life, me being transparent about certain things that I went through, things that people probably never thought that I had gone through or had done. And I'm speaking about really dark times in my life and just being transparent. It was hard. I have to tell you, I didn't sleep at night. I didn't know if this was something I should have shared. It was something, there are some secrets in there that most people don't share the rest of their life, or really the taboo of being a church girl and really going through the situations that I went through. Most people don't speak about it, and that's why it's so hard for so many people to get over certain dark situations in their life. And that's why God told me, hey, you need to be transparent. You need to share with people what you went through, what I got you out of, how I restored you, how I taught you how to forgive, how I healed you, how I just mended your heart. And it's teaching me today how to live the best days of my life. But one of the biggest things that I did about a year ago writing this book was taking a risk. And I realized that most people don't shine, or most people don't enter into the next level in their life because they don't want to take risks. They want to be safe, right? That's why most people are into a 9-to-5. They're into having somebody telling them what to do, and if they do it, they're fine, and then they move forward from that. Now we know that's not even true. even having a 9 to 5 is a risk because you don't know if you're going to be in that job tomorrow. You don't know if something is going to happen and you're going to get fired. There's no job security anymore. But I wanted to share to those that are entrepreneurs, to those that know without a shadow of a doubt that God called them to do something great, that God called them to do something out of the norm, that God told them that they were going to do something to change the destiny of people's lives. I'm speaking to you right now. And if you're listening to me, I know without a shadow of a doubt that you are one of those individuals. I have to tell you that we have to take more risks in life. Yes, we need to be safe, but you know what? Being safe means that you don't take risks. And I took a huge risk, and I thank the Lord today. I've had so many people reach out to me about how this book has blessed them, how this book has restored them, how they have learned to forgive, how they see their life in a different point of view. And it just brings so much joy into my life. And in addition to that, it has opened up so many doors. Right now, I'm doing episodes on Instagram and Facebook called Live with Gina Becoming a Better You at 7 p.m. every single Wednesday Eastern Time. I want you to join me. I'm on IG at Prevail the Book and on Facebook at Jinary Arce Cotto. And I have to tell you, the topics that I am sharing are really, really topics that a lot of people don't speak about. And yes, I have to take a risk that I'm going to be ridiculed, that I'm going to be spoken about, that I am going to be put down. But that's okay, because as long as I know without a shadow of a doubt that God is on my side, I don't care who comes against me. And I want to share that with you today. I want to share that the biggest risk that you could take is not taking any risks at all. I promise you that on the other side of that risk that you're going to take, there are doors that God is going to open. I have the Prevail Point. I have Live with Gina. I have Motivational Minutes on Mondays. Other doors that are opening up for me to speak in different events and different conventions. And you know what? I tell the Lord, Lord, I surrender to you. Lord, I give you all who I am. I've never been as close to the Lord as I am now because I just want to do His will. And I know if you're listening to me, whatever walk you are taking right now, God wants to use you. He wants you to surrender to Him. I have to encourage you and I have to let you know that if you're following Jesus, Jesus was a risk taker. Jesus lived in a time that was similar to our own in the sense that it was a time of great change. He came to change the world. He came to change the mindset of the people that were living at that time. His mission was to save you and I. It was incredible what Jesus did. At one time, when the disciples went up to Jesus and told Jesus, wow, this lady was caught in the act of adultery, Jesus looked at everybody and said, if you are without sin, throw the first stone. Are you kidding me? That was a risk taking. I mean, they probably could have taken the stones and throw it at Jesus. He was going against the grain all the time. He was a risk taker. When I start analyzing the walk of God, I realized that He took more risks in His life, being here for 33 years, than anything else that He did. You know, one thing that we're dealing with today still, unfortunately, racism, segregation, so many things that we're dealing right now, that we're faced with right now, Jesus broke. He broke centuries of racism and gender segregation by walking into the heart of Samaria and speaking to the Samaritan women. That's found in John 4:26. He allowed a prostitute to wash His feet. Luke 7:37-38. So many examples in the Word of God of Jesus taking risks. But my question to you today is, are you taking risks? Are you taking good calculated risks that are going to get you closer to your dreams and goals? Do you realize that those dreams that you have in your heart, God placed them there? I could understand that you might feel awkward. I could understand that you might feel out of place. I could understand that maybe you don't fit in. But as I said before, you were not meant to fit in. You were meant to be unique. You were meant to do something different with the gifts that God gave you. And I have to let you know that God is there when you're taking that risk. God has opened up so many doors for me since I wrote this book, and I know it's just the beginning. Why do I know that? Because I know without a shadow of a doubt that I am in obedience to God. Why don't you take the risk? Why don't you start that business? Why don't you do what God has called you to do already and take that risk and don't care what people are going to say? You know you're going to lose people whether you do what God tells you to do or not. There's going to be haters whether you do what God tells you to do or not. Why not be in His will and through that rejection, feel the peace of God that surpasses all understanding because you are in obedience? I come to tell you today that is your day to change. Is your day to do something different. Is your day to say, God, okay, I'm ready. Is your day to say, God, I'm ready to surrender to you. I'm ready to surrender my thoughts, my feelings, my inventions. I'm ready to surrender everything that I am because I want to be in your perfect will. How beautiful it is to be in His will. How beautiful it is to be in His obedience. Taking risks is part of life. Make sure that the ones that you take are the ones that God is telling you to take. And you know which ones they are. You know which ones they are when you feel peace while doing it. Yes, it's going to be scary. Yes, you're going to feel it. Scary is not always a bad thing. There is a good level of anxiety and fear that takes you to the next level of where you need to be. So today I encourage you to take that risk. Start that business. Change your location. Maybe you need to sell your house. Maybe you need to go somewhere else. Those are scary steps. But if God is guiding you, why not do it? If God is guiding you, why not apply for the new job? Why not start the new business? Why not send in your invention? You might be the next Mark Zuckerberg. You never know. There's so many of you that have so many talents, so many gifts, but your fear is stopping you from taking risks and getting to the next level and really dimension in your life. Do you know who you are? You know, I realize one thing. There's so many people with potential, but most people don't know who they are. If you get to know who you are through Jesus Christ, you realize that you have been created for greatness. You realize that if you take risks, there just might be an opportunity for you to reach the dreams and goals that God has planted in your heart. God bless you today. God wants you to be an innovator and a risk taker just like He was. Blessings to you and your family. And I want to encourage the older folks, maybe the ones that think that possibly they don't have a career or maybe they can't start a new business. Don't discourage the younger ones that want to. Don't tell them, hey, don't take any risks. Don't start the 9 to 5, you'll be fine. Allow them to make mistakes when they're young because that's when it's safer for them to make the mistakes. Let them be innovators. Let them be risk takers. You just might get all your dreams and goals if you let the young ones get theirs. God bless you. Blessings to you and your family, and talk to you next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Prevail Point with Jinary Arce Cotto. Order her book, Prevail, The Process of Overcoming, on Amazon.com or wherever books or audiobooks are sold. We'll see you next time.